Good day, everyone. I am Travis Giffen, the Assistant Director of Online Programs. Thank you for joining us all today for our information session on the Instructional Design MasterTrack Certificate Program offered by the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign in conjunction with Coursera. Thanks for joining us all today. Please note that you do have your video and audio are muted in the chat. Hopefully you all can hear us, but you are muted at this point in time. If you have questions throughout the presentation, we please encourage you to type them in the Q&A portion here in Zoom so that we can answer those questions. We will be trying to answer those questions throughout the presentation, but then there will also be time at the end of the presentation where you can continue to ask questions, and we should be able to get all your questions answered for today. Also, as a reminder, this presentation is being recorded, so it'll be there for you later. The recording will go out about 12 hours later to everybody that has registered for the information session. So thank you all for joining us today. We're here to talk about the Instructional Design MasterTrack Certificate Program. You'll see a few faces on the call with us today. Just to give everybody a quick overview of what we'll be doing, we'll get here, I'll finish up welcome and introductions here shortly. We'll have an overview of the program. Then our faculty that are teaching this summer will share about the two classes that we have, EPOL 472 and EPOL 483. Then we will talk about a bit about the MasterTrack to Master of Education, enrolling in the MasterTrack certificate program. And if you have any questions that don't get answered today, or if you think of them afterwards, you can always reach us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu. Throughout the program and here with us today, you might encounter or talk with several of us from the Office of Online Programs. We welcome you all here today. With us today, we have the Assistant Dean for Online and Learning and Innovation, Sangeeta Gopalakrishnan is here. We have Brianna Davis, our Online Student Advisor. I've already introduced myself, and Gina Poth is our Online Student Services Coordinator. If you email us, you might interact with Gina quite a bit. With that, I am going to turn things over to Sangeeta.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sangeeta Gopalakrishnan, and I head online programs for the College of Education here at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. We are very happy that you chose to join us today. We're hoping to give you a lot of good information, and we're hoping that it moves you to enroll in the program. Okay. So I just want to give you a brief overview of the program. You're going to hear a lot of good information from the faculty members later on. So what will you learn in the Instructional Design MasterTrack Certificate Program? So basically, you will learn to solve real-world learning and performance challenges. You will learn to integrate technology with today's learning environments, and you will master key concepts in instructional and training system design, learning technologies, and more. Next slide, Travis. So the Instructional Design MasterTrack Certificate Program is comprised of two courses. The first course is EPOL 472, and the second course is EPOL 483. Each course is for 4 credits, and these are at the graduate level, so you will earn graduate credit hours. So the total of 8 graduate credit hours that you earn after completing both these courses could also be applied to a degree program if you chose to continue onto a degree program. Next slide. So at a glance, some quick facts about the Instructional Design MasterTrack Certificate Program. So you will need a bachelor's degree to enroll in the program. We offer tuition at a subsidized rate for this program. It's at $2,384 for both the courses together. And in the summer, you can complete this program in 3 months. As I mentioned, you will earn graduate degree credit, which means that you can apply these credits to a degree program, and you'd still have to apply to the degree program and be admitted, of course. And this MasterTrack certificate program involves weekly live sessions. You'll learn more about that from the faculty members, and you will be working on hands-on projects as well, which is pretty cool. So what types of students are enrolled in this program, and what sort of careers do they come in with, or do they go on? So in terms of settings, we have students from a wide variety of settings. They come to us from higher education, from healthcare and IT, information technology, rather, business, K-12, military, and so on and so forth. So this is not an exhaustive list of settings, but really goes to show that anywhere where training, learning, and instruction is designed, you can find interest in those settings and in completing this sort of a certificate program. Our students also, upon completing this certificate, they go on to, I'm going to move this screen. Okay, there we go. Some of the job titles that they have after completing this MasterTrack certificate program: instructional designers, curriculum developers, e-learning specialist, trainer, training and development specialist, training and development manager, instructional coordinator, and so on and so forth. So this is just a sampling of job titles. It's not an exhaustive list of job titles, but just so you can think about what sorts of options are open to you after you complete this program. And so now I invite our faculty members to share some information about the program.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes.
You
Okay.
just great.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Very nice to meet you all. My name is Unjong Grace O. I'm a faculty member of Human Resource Development Program within the Department of Education Policy, Organization, and Leadership here at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. I'm also one of the faculty lead in the Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate program. My work is intersection of learning design and technology, particularly in the context of human resource development and also adult learning. Here at UIUC, I teach courses regarding the instructional and training system design, e-learning related courses, learning technologies, adult and professional education, also program evaluation. Prior to joining academia, I've worked as a HRD specialist, also instructional designer, program evaluator, and so forth. Within the IDMTC program, I teach EPOL 472, which is instructional and training system design course, and I will be the instructor for the summer section. Very excited to meet you all and hope to see many of you joining the course in summer. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Kelly Best to give us her introduction.
Hello, I am Dr. Kelly Best Huddy. This is my first semester of being an adjunct lecturer for the Department of Education Policy, Organization, and Leadership at UIUC. I also am the assistant chair and assistant professor for the School of Technology at Eastern Illinois University. And I've been teaching there for about 10, 11 years now. I teach classes in web-based instruction, training processes, and strategies. This semester, I'm teaching Intro to Engineering Technology and Strategic Employee Improvement. So I have my master's, my MBA from Eastern, and then I actually finished in 2020, spring of 2020, my PhD from UIUC in Human Resource Development. So excited to be back helping out the program.
Next up, we have course information here, and we'll start with EPOL 472.
Sure, thank you. I'll briefly go over this course. So I've been teaching EPOL 472 instructional and training system design for many years. I have a great passion and also interest on instructional design, because I really believe that good instructional designer can help many individuals to have meaningful learning opportunities, experiences that are very relevant to their own career development and also professional development. Also, instructional designers can help organizations for their organizational performance improvement. And as we all experienced together, the pandemic due to COVID-19 really has brought much attention to the instructional design. We had to all work and learn remotely. And during that time, instructional designers, almost work as like a first responders in their organizations. So there have been increasing interest, discussions, growth in the online learning and training in organizations, and also higher education institutions of varied capacity. So I think there is much potential for the instructional design field to grow. This particular course is the first course of the 2-course sequence in the IDMTC program. In this course, students will learn about essential learning and instructional theories, instructional design models, important concepts, principles of instructional design. Also, using a learning by doing approach, students actually design and develop an instruction. And I'll talk more about these by introducing specific elements of the course. Next, please. So on this slide, you can see the goal and the projects in the course. So first, the figure on the right side illustrates the course structure. Basically, students learn the conceptual and theoretical foundations of instructional design. And then EDI, as you can see, like analyze, design, development, implement, and then evaluate, which is basically an instructional design process, is a focal point of the course curriculum. So basically, we will learn many important activities that instructional designers would do during the different phases of instruction design process. And at the end of the course, students will be able to design an optimal instructional solution that would respond to the learning and performance challenges that they identified for their target group of learners. Next slide, please. So there are 3 major assignments to help students to achieve the learning goal and the course that you saw earlier on the earlier slide, and help students to also learn instructional design skills, knowledge, and also instructional design career. The biggest project for students is to learn, like, basically how to conduct instructional design project, right? And students do this as a group. And then the second set of assignments is that there are case studies where students will read and also analyze and discuss, which are to really help students to think like an instructional designer. And then the third one is that throughout the 2 courses, students develop an e-portfolio to present their instructional design skills and knowledge through the artifacts that they develop in those courses. Next, please. So let me talk a little more about the instructional design project itself. So students, as I said, work with their group members to complete an instructional design project. So using an instructional design model, they will develop an instructional intervention in order to help their target audience, whether those are employees in a corporate environment or staff in the higher education institutions or nonprofit type of organizations, the teachers in the K-12 context. I mean, I'm just giving you some examples, but to help those target audience to meet the learning and performance needs, And then, instructional design process includes a number of phases from various analysis to all the way to different, types of evaluation activities, the formative evaluation, summative evaluation, and so forth. So with various scaffoldings that the instructional team, including myself and the TA, provides, the students will complete those instructional design activities for different phases to create instructional and training program. Next, please. And then, as I said earlier, there are 4 design cases on instructional design that we'll be discussing in the class. And each case study includes a scenario that is related to one of the instructional design phase. So as you can see, the scenarios covers the analysis or the design or implementation or evaluation related matters. So we have a very in-depth class discussion in these cases during the weekly live sessions throughout the course, and students choose one of the case and they write up the case study action plan report. So that's for now about the EPOL 472. Next, please. So Dr. Best.
All right, I'll take over. So EPOL 483, excuse me, learning technologies. This course really looks at a variety of learning technologies and tools that can be utilized to design and implement e-learning and TEAL technology enriched and enhanced learning environments. We look at what factors and elements you need to consider when designing, and how those technologies and tools and the factors and the elements, how they relate and align with the instructional systems design and learning theories, frameworks, and models. So we try to include, a little bit of the technology and tools with all the different constraints and factors that you have to think about, and then how those align with the research that's been conducted and the theories and models. Okay, next slide. Oh, next slide. Thank you. Whoa. All right. Oh, I think we're one ahead. Can you go back one? Thanks. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about what's on the left side of the screen on the next slide, but on the right, this shows visually what the main topics are that are covered in the course. So to kind of summarize this, instead of going into each individual one, we look at learning, design, and technology, each one of those components, and then more importantly, how they work together and can be used in combination with one another to solve learning and performance problems in organizations. We emphasize the role of learning outcomes and processes, and as I mentioned before, theories, frameworks, and models, and then considering the capabilities of the technologies and tools. And I think an important part of this course is that we want you to start to develop or get a sense of your own design views and philosophy, and how those relate to your own values, and then the values trending in society and the different needs of society. Okay, next slide. So the major assignments for this class, you have the ELT activities, exploring learning technology. This is a team assignment, group assignment. So your team will be given a learning technology tool, for example, game-based learning or simulation or assessments and evaluation options. And your team will do some research and find a little bit more information on that specific learning technology, and then develop a presentation and record it to be viewed asynchronously and submitted. And then your groups will also be working on design case study scenarios on learning technologies, which I will go into that more detail on the next slide. And then, as Dr. O had mentioned, the e-portfolio development. In this course, it is optional. And I would probably add another major assignment to this course. We do have weekly discussion posts that will be due to incorporate the social aspect and get everybody communicating with one another. Okay, next slide. There are 3 design case study scenarios that your team has to do throughout the course. The first scenario, we give you the background of the company and the information on some of the changes that are taking place within the company. And then, so your role, you're in the learning and development department, and your team is responsible for converting company regulations and policies into interactive e-learning environments by utilizing what we call absorb type activities. And then the second scenario, your goal is to foster safe and inclusive workplace cultures by incorporating do type activities. And then the third scenario, you're supposed to improve transfer of learning and performance to various contexts and by utilizing connect type activities. So it kind of goes through and incorporates the process developed through Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, next slide. And I think Dr. O had mentioned this already, what the e-portfolio can do if you choose to complete it. Okay, next slide.
All right. Thank you so much for you both, for faculty, for sharing about the 2 courses in the program. Next up, we have Brianna Davis.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brianna Davis. I'm the online student advisor. Now that we've discussed the course content and you've gotten to know a little bit more about the 2 classes that you'll be taking as a part of this program, we'd like to just take a few slides to talk about the program format and how the courses will be delivered to you as a student. So the classes are hosted entirely online. They will revolve around weekly synchronous sessions. Collaboration is a really big part of this program. So the synchronous sessions offer a really good opportunity for you to interact with your peers and professors live and in real time. So you can really engage with each other in an authentic way. Additionally, you'll have access to necessary supports from instructors via channels such as office hours. Next slide, please. So these courses are each 8 weeks long, and the synchronous sessions meet 1 night per week from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. For the summer 2023 session, EPOL 472 will be held on Thursday, starting the week of May 15th. EPOL 483 will be held on Wednesday, starting the week of June 12th. So I do want to note that during the summer session, these 2 courses will have a 4-week overlap. So during this 4-week overlap, students will be actively participating and completing coursework for both courses, making for a slightly heavier course load during this time period, since you'll be working on both courses at the same time. As a student in the Coursera Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate program, the first 2 live sessions are required, but participation in all other class sessions is highly recommended. Again, the synchronous sessions are the best way to get the most out of your experience in these courses, as they allow students the opportunity to interact directly with their course instructors and peers. And you can also ask questions in real time that way. And then for each class, students can anticipate about 8 to 12 hours of work outside of class each week. As mentioned, each course is 8 weeks long, and there is that 4-week overlap of those courses during the summer session. So students can expect a total of about 16 to 24 hours of work outside of class each week during that 4-week overlap period. So just something to take into consideration. Next slide, please. And as previously mentioned, the MasterTrack certificate courses can stack and serve as a good pathway to our Master of Education in Education Policy, Organization, and Leadership programs. So essentially that means that if you'd like to earn your master's degree at the College of Education at the University of Illinois after you've concluded your certificate program, you can apply the 2 courses that you've taken to your master's program. So to give you an idea about your options, your completed coursework can be applied to any of our concentrations that are listed here, which are all offered as a part of our Education Policy, Organization, and Leadership master's programs. To break this down further, the Master of Education program is an 8-course program. So this means that if you complete your MasterTrack certificate first, you will have already completed 2 of your 8 courses upon enrollment into the master's program. So you'll already be a quarter of a way to your master's degree, which is a really cool option. If you're interested in learning more about our master's programs, you can visit education.illinois.edu/online. Here you'll be able to learn more about the master's course requirements and how the MasterTrack certificate can really form a pathway to your master's degree program. I would like to say that if you're interested in pursuing your master's degree, we encourage you to first complete your MasterTrack certificate and then apply to the master's program. This allows you to take full advantage of the 2 discounted MasterTrack courses offered by Coursera prior to enrolling as a degree-seeking student at the college.
Next up, I'd like to just quickly share a bit about career services available for Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate students. We have a number of asynchronous career services that are available to all students while they are enrolled in the program. These involve different resources available online and even video discussions or presentations. Also, individual career coaching sessions can be scheduled with myself, the Assistant Director of Online Programs, while students are currently enrolled in the program. Speaking about enrollment in the program, I know we've seen some questions about how do I enroll and questions about that. So wanted to be sure that we talked about those. Requirements and program costs, as I think it's been mentioned a couple times already. Bachelor's degree is required to enroll in the Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate program. The total cost of the program is $2,384. That is for both classes. Once you enroll, you will pay the university for each of the 2 classes, which is the classes individually are $1,192. There are payment options. If you were wondering, this program is a non-degree program, so financial aid is not available because that tuition is already offered at a reduced rate. Payment plans are available. If you are interested in a payment plan, please refer to the webpage listed here, paymybill.uillinois.edu/payments/payment plan, and you can set up a payment plan option with the university for the courses. If you are interested in enrolling and applications are already open for the program, you can start your application and registration process online at the web address that we have listed here, go.education.illinois.edu/IDMTC apply. And we would love to see your application and get you registered in the courses for this summer. We have application and registration deadlines for the summer. They are open now, summer applications for term A. So if you were going to start with EPOL 472, those classes close on May 1st and class starts the first week or that week of May 15th. For EPOL 483, if you were looking at starting then or also taking that class, make sure you are registered by May 30th and the first week of class is June 12th. You can take both classes in either order. So if you end up starting with EPOL 483 this summer, 472 will be offered again this fall. But as we've mentioned several times, both courses can be taken this summer, but sometimes people end up taking one course a semester. Just wanted to be sure to clarify that for folks. Again, if you have questions, please keep the questions coming in the Q&A box. If you think of them afterwards, you can also email us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu. And with that, I'm going to hand things back to Sangeetha briefly.
All right. So one of the things I wanted to mention before I start on this section is that when you complete the Instructional Design MasterTrack certificate program, you'll get a digital certificate, and it'll be in a format that you can share on social media, on LinkedIn, for example, LinkedIn. And many of our students like to do that. So that's something to think about as well. So you had the opportunity to learn about the program. You've heard some great information from the faculty members and from the online programs team here. And perhaps you're still wondering why choose to enroll in a program here at the University of Illinois. So I wanted to give you some concluding thoughts. So I'll give you some reasons. So we are a top-tier research university. You may be aware of that. So University of Illinois is a top-tier research university. We, as in the College of Education, has been ranked number 3 by US News and World Reports for our online Masters in Education programs. And we've been ranked number 3 out of more than 200 institutions for the 3rd consecutive year. So that's a good reason to enroll in a program with us. And our ranking is based on the quality and our affordability. The quality has to do with the fact that we have world-class faculty here in the college. So you will be taught by faculty who have excellent credentials. Our online student engagement is a focus. We care about the online learning experience of our students. You will not only learn from world-class faculty, but you will also be learning with peers who come in with very rich and diverse backgrounds. Most of our students are in the workforce, so they have a lot of rich experience to share, and most students benefit from learning with peers who have these rich backgrounds. And being a top-tier research university, the University of Illinois has extensive resources such as library, our library system, and as online students, you will have access to some of these resources. Next slide, please. And so, did I mention that we were ranked number 3? So here's a story. You can read more about it if you're interested. We'll be sure to put a link in the chat later on. So I hope you are going to make the best decision in your life, which is to enroll in our program here at the University of Illinois. And we're going to stick around for some questions. So feel free to pose your questions in the Q&A, or as Travis mentioned earlier, you can also unmute and pose a question.
Yes, so thank you so much, everybody. Thank you to all of our presenters so far. Thanks for all of the great questions that we have got in the chat. Now is the time where we can answer some questions live. Feel free to submit those in the Q&A in the chat if you still have them, and I will be happy to read them out, and we can get those questions answered for everybody. Thank you for these questions. I have a question here that I'll start with answering live for both of our faculty members here that we have. Jessica asks, a lot of jobs for instructional design ask for software skills. Do some of the courses teach how to build instructional material in software?
Well, I can respond to, I think there are the 2 questions in the Q&A. It's kind of similar questions. So the courses are not necessarily the technical training of certain technology applications. So in case of EPOL 472, I mean, students develop their instructional training based on the instruction design that they do, but it's up to students' decision, like which tools to use depending on their project context, because every project is different. So we don't necessarily teach particular technology, but I mean, how to use technology, but the the students in the IDMTC program, because they will have a UIUC ID and password, they will have a full access to those web-based technology tutorials by LinkedIn. So students tend to use those materials to kind of get to learn different technology. I hope that answers the questions.
Yeah, and I was going to add to that too. In 483, we do talk a lot about different technologies and software programs, but more of, you know, what factors to think about when you're designing or using them within your design, as opposed to, like Dr. O said, this is how you use this, you know, type training. So.
Thank you both. We have another question here. Many times we have students that are joining from all over the world. Didn't know if Dr. Grace or Dr. Best, if you wanted to speak a little bit about how you've seen students in different time zones collaborate with others.
So in 472, when I assign students groups, before the program, the course begins, I give a profile survey. So students enter the time zone information and of course some other information. So in assigning groups, time zone is definitely one of the important elements that we consider when grouping the students. So that's something that we care. Also, you know, in terms of the live session, first 2 live sessions are required in 472 because I want students to get to know the course, also get to know their group members. But then after that, if, you know, it's highly encouraged to, you know, participate, but if needed, they can also watch the recording. So there are certain options for students who have especially kind of extreme time zone to join those live sessions.
Thank you. We have other questions here. We had a question, do we cover aspects of LXP as a part of learning technology?
I mean, I would say that's would be kind of how I answered it before. We talk about a number of different tools, but don't really focus on specific ones. And for that course, I think somebody else had asked to how or what software is used to deliver the courses. Depending on, you know, the registration, we use Coursera and then Zoom for the live sessions, and then any degree seeking students would have theirs through Canvas. My group is also using Slack this semester, so to communicate, which is new to me. So that's been fun. And I think Dr. O mentioned this, or somebody, we learn a lot from each other. We can all bring experience and knowledge to the learning environment.
Thank you. We had a question about free ones. I think this might be for free courses. There are 2 MOOCs that are available through Coursera that are offered through these through the university. If you're interested in those, I'll get you the link to those 2 MOOCs and get that to you in the chat. Or you can email us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu. Sorry there. And we can send you the direct link for those MOOC courses.
Travis, can I jump in?
Absolutely.
Grace and Kelly, there's a question about the exams. I answered part of the question as a chat in the chat, and the other part of the question is, can the student, it's Mohammed Gamil asking, what is the time frame in which they have to complete the requirements for the course? I think that's what is the question is about. They're asking if there's an exam, or when do they need to finish the requirements for the course? For each course, rather.
472, there's no exam. It's all projects and assignments. And in the course during summer, I believe starts the week of May 15th. So we meet on Thursdays. I mean, each week starts like Monday and ends on Sunday in my course, but then we meet on Thursday every week, and it goes for 8 weeks. So I believe that the course ends early July. I forgot the specific date, but I think it ends in early July. There are assignments that students need to complete each week, and it's, so every week there are small chunks of assignment. We try to help students to, that's one of the scaffolding that we build as an instructional team, so that students would not get too overwhelmed, at the end, have to do all the things all at once. And there are also 2 opportunities to receive the formative feedback from me and the TA in the course of building their instructional design. So so yes, the big assignment is the instructional design, but there are little pieces here and there to help students to accomplish the big task at the end.
So to summarize, so there will be deadlines for each of the assignments, and so the expectation is that students meet the deadlines for the assignments, and they should be completed in a timely manner when the course ends. Everything that's due should be completed within that time frame.
Yeah, I usually give a few more days right after that week 8, so students can use that as like a window to finish up their final assignments. So it will likely to be sometime the following week, once the course ends, that students finish up all the requirements. Yes.
And I would add in for 483, we try to have all of the materials and resources and assignment requirements visible from the beginning. So you do, you and your group on your team assignments can work ahead. We don't just post the stuff on Monday and then it's due on Sunday. So you do have the ability to work ahead. But then, those specific assignments will be due on certain dates, and you have to meet those deadlines. In 483, there's really not, since it's divided into the 3 case studies, there's really not one big, huge assignment at the end that's needed to turn in. It's pretty, I think it's pretty balanced. So that's my input on 483.
So there was a question earlier about how many hours per week a student would need to put in, and I had looked at my notes and indicated that 8 to 12 hours of work outside of the synchronous meetings. I also wanted to add, because this session is being recorded, and hopefully if somebody watches this later on, they can pay attention, is that there is an overlap between the 2 courses. So there will be a period of time when students have to put in twice the amount of work, because they will be in 2 courses at the same time. So it's something that we want to make students aware of, so that when they can make whatever adjustments they need to manage their time, so that they can be successful in both courses.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for all of the questions. We still have some time. While there is a bit of a pause, I'm gonna start a poll here. Just let us know if this event met your expectations for today. Thank you all so much for that. Thanks again for everybody who has joined us so far and joined us today. Thank you to all of those who are watching this recording back later. We hope that this has been helpful for you. Seeing a few more questions that we are getting answered. Just want to remind everybody that this session is being recorded. It'll get sent out to everybody who registered to the same email address that you signed up for about 12 hours afterwards. And that recording will be there for you. If you have any other questions or think of them, you can reach us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu. We're happy to follow up with you. It's like one last question here about study grants, financial aid for this program. This program is already heavily subsidized and is offered at a reduced rate. So financial aid and tuition waivers are not available for this program. But as I had mentioned before, there are payment plans that are available. If you have other questions about tuition or payment, we'd really encourage you to reach out to us at onlineprograms@education.illinois.edu and we can answer those questions for you. All right. Well, thanks to everybody who joined us today. Going to go ahead and end this information session. Thank you to our two wonderful faculty members for joining us. Thank you for those from online programs. We hope that you will consider applying and registering and enrolling in the Instructional Design MasterTrack Certificate Program this summer. I saw a question in here, and it will also be offered again in the fall. So if you are watching this at a later time, the program will be also offered in the fall and again in the spring continuing forward, and hopefully for a long time to come. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day, no matter where you are, no matter what time. Bye.
Thank you.